And the next speaker is Francie Mackey.
Whereas the terms such as truth and lies can be relative, when they're applied to an occupation scenario, they become relative to political expediency and ideological revisionism. British occupation is a truth, but is maintained by lies. The politics of British occupation is primarily concerned with securing an Irish endorsement for its presence here and undermining whatever means Irish efforts are to remove it. And the lie that as Irish practitioners peddle is that British politics in Ireland has a democratic basis. Nothing is further from the truth, as 800 years of resistance testifies to. A true democracy would never give birth to such tenacious sectarian division or state assassination. A true democracy would have no need to foster political and social division amongst its own people in order to maintain itself. These are the history of the truth and lies of British occupation in our country. In a conflict situation, however, the nobility of truth alone is not sufficient to overcome the deceitful apparatus of the occupation, because within the melting pot of lies and counter-lies, the truth is invariably revised beyond recognition. Historical truth is poisoned. Contemporary truth is fabricated to convenience. Political truth is subordinated to populism, and legal truth serves political expediency. And those who struggle most against this disease are those who are most maligned by the fine-tuned engine of the lies. For the Republican struggle then to properly utilise the concept of the truth, we must first translate it into political fact. And for that political fact to be effective, it must be made relevant to our people. Because there's no truth without people. This is the new language that present-day Republicans need to employ if the Republican struggle is to have any success in moving forward. We need to translate our history into contemporary relevance. We need to teach our people through the medium of debates and discussions like this, through the medium of a Republican language that demonstrates the occupation is a denial of real rights and not some abstract concept of such. And above all, as a compass for our struggle, we need to convince people that the many lies of British occupation are but aspects of one singular lie, and that is that the Irish people are not a sovereign people and therefore not entitled to our unalienable right to freedom. If as a struggle we can base our politics on an immutable fact such as our right to sovereignty, we can denude the British occupation to this immutable fact also. In such a case, all the lies become one lie. If the case for British sovereignty is proven, the case against all British lies denying it are proven also. And this is where the 32 county sovereignty movement speaks of translating the issue of national sovereignty into a language of relevance to the lives of our people. Westminster is a lie in our country. Stormont is a lie for Westminster. The Assembly is a lie for Stormont. And partition is a lie against Irish democracy. This circle of deceit goes back as far as the Republican struggle can go. The manifestations of this deceit go equally as far back. MI5 is a lie in our country. The RUC is a lie for MI5. The PSNI is a lie for the RUC. And the British judiciary is a lie against Irish justice. The British and Irish governments, however, have managed to translate these truths into the political lie that it is the behaviour alone of these entities which are the source of conflict and not their very presence in our country. Everyone here can cite incidents against these agencies, from Bloody Sunday, who were commemorating this week, to the hunger strikes, to the recent debacle of the Sean case. Thousands of families have been affected by their activities, but to confine our political resistance against them to their behaviour, as the politics of the Good Friday Agreement now does, is to fall headlong into the British trap of not directing our political resistance against their very existence. We cannot resolve political problems with the same political thinking which created them. British inquiries into British behaviour in Ireland are pointless. Home rule politics will not remove partition. Partitionist politics will not alter the mindset of the current body politic. Those who malign us by shouting the loudest of the perceived achievements are winning because the Republican base is not strong enough at this point in time to overcome it. The price that political parties have made for calling for informers to be activated against Republicans, it's the calling for people to actively support the RUC in cases such as the Sean Hoy case. It's a calling for people in the occupied area to look upon those who resist that occupation as criminals. For those doing this calling, the circle of deceit alluded to earlier is now complete, and for those who signed the Good Friday Agreement, the constitutional question is suitably austerised, normalised, and suitably criminalised. If they criminalise one of us, they criminalise all of us. And that is why we must unite against this policy, because there will be more such cases as Martin Brogan, Seamus Doherty, and more Sean Hoys, because that's the nature of the beast. We offer our analysis in tandem with a strategic view as to how Republicans can advance their position. We hold true to a number of political realities, that the sovereignty of the Irish people is inalienable and indefeasible. We can only realistically address the problems Republicans now face if we realistically recognise that such a problem exists. We can ultimately achieve more for republicanism if we act united under democratic principles. That is why we have approached it from a singular perspective, which allows for the many aspects of the struggle to be politically expressed. The 32 County Sovereignty movement has sought to create such an analysis via an incremental and structured approach. We first choose to define the root cause of the conflict by challenging the British government to defend their position in an international forum. We equally challenge those who signed the Good Friday Agreement to defend their actions against our interpretation of them, and that they have refused to do so has less to do with the veracity of their argument and more to do with the lack of our political strength. To this end, we have sought engagement with other Republicans and socialist groupings to find common ground around which that political strength could be attained. We knew that how we go about finding such common ground was as important as the actual ground unity can be founded on. The Republican Unity Initiative was thus presented as an initiative which could only succeed on the basis of democratic parity, agreement, and this remains the case. We cannot move this struggle forward by truth alone. We face too many lies for that. Grammar.